Welcome, everyone. Today's panel on Pluto and Aquarius brings together a dynamic group of professional astrologers who have just completed the Speak to Shine Masterclass at Kepler College. This class was designed to help astrologers not only clarify their message, but deliver it in a way that truly resonates and offers something relatable and helpful. What you'll hear today is the result of that work. Insightful, compelling perspectives from fresh new voices on one of the most profound astrological transits of the time we're living in right now, which is Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto's entrance into Aquarius marks the beginning of a radical transformation in how we experience power, progress, transformation, and individuality. Pluto is that planet which makes the unconscious conscious, as Dr. Jung would say. And it's the one that doesn't just make tiny tweaks. It's the one that dismantles, excavates, and rebuilds from the ground up. In Aquarius, this power moves into the realm of technology, society, human rights, the very definition of individuality, and how much individuality is good for society and the collective. Before I get into too many details, and because we're going to hear so much from these wonderful astrologers, first I'd like to invite Monaliza, our astrologer from Brazil, who is passionate about astromapping and astrocartography. She's a writer, a teacher, and she teaches astrology and holds in-person events. She blends her previous travel experiences with practical guidance to help individuals with their journeys towards self-development. Monaliza, can you tell us a little bit about when this Pluto transit is actually happening?
So the first time Pluto entered Aquarius was in 2023, from March to November. It was the first time we had a taste of it. The second time Pluto entered Aquarius was in 2024, from January to September. We had another taste of it. And then the third time Pluto entered Aquarius was November 19 of 2024, and we will stay there for 20 years until January 2044. Now Pluto is really settled in Aquarius for 20 years.
Yeah, and that is a very, very long transit. Thank you for the share, Monaliza.
You're welcome.
So that's a really, really long transit. And we know Pluto does this major excavation and rebuilding job. What do each of you most hope for Pluto to do for you in your life? And how do you want to transform with it? Let me call upon Brandi first. Brandi Cheeseborough is an evolutionary astrologer who helps entrepreneurs align their businesses with cosmic timing for greater success. She combines practical strategy with the law of attraction to make manifestations come alive. Brandi, where do you hope Pluto most transforms for you?
Magda, my chart has a lot of air, and I often have a lot of great ideas. So for me, I want Pluto to transform how I execute on those ideas. That way, those ideas can really benefit me as well as other people.
Yeah, kind of like your description of yourself, manifest them and make them come to life, huh?
Exactly.
Wonderful, wonderful. How about you, Tisha? What would you most hope for with Pluto?
Well, much of my journey through astrology has been about healing, and Pluto kind of entered my 12th house about the time I found astrology. So what I want to do is just keep healing. And by the time it crosses my ascendant in about 8 years, I just want the power to make changes in this world as I see they need to be made.
Indeed, indeed. And that is so much about that Aquarian vibe of having an ideal, marinating on it, and then bringing it into fruition. Beautiful. Thank you, Tisha. And I forgot to mention that Tisha Fuller is an apprentice and student at the Forrest Center for Evolutionary Astrology. For her, a midlife course correction led her to take time away from normal life and study astrology and uncover her soul's identity. It's all there in her chart, and she invites you to see that it's all there in yours as well. Thank you, Tisha. How about you, Robert?
Well, ultimately, I like to see it really revolutionize the planet. We have to change a lot of things from the past. And I believe the Pluto in Aquarius is going to really open people's eyes to a lot of sharing and awareness, and also just make a better world. I mean, we're walking on eggs right now.
Mm.
And so on a mundane level, I think this Pluto transit is really going to break down a lot of the barriers and create a new form or a collective consciousness for people as they go forward. And personally, for me, it's in my seventh house right now, transiting, and but it's all about astrology. I'm really coming back into astrology and connecting to people on a one-to-one level, but also being the healer, trying to help people get through their situations that they're going through, and to make the world a happier place, but to make them happy. Because we can't change the world all at once, but we can change the way that we connect with one another on a one-to-one level. And that's the most important thing.
Mm, that's beautiful, Robert. Thank you, Robert. Thank you.
Thank you.
How about you, Louisa? What are you hoping for?
Well, for me, as I am a Capricorn, my sun is in Capricorn. So for me, I would really like to break free from some limiting belief that Saturn has always on me. So as Aquarius also ruled by Saturn in the tradition. So I am waiting for this fresh air in the way of doing things.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely hear that. The correction for every sign is the one before it. I believe it was Dane Rudyard who said that the previous sign is always corrected by the sign coming up. And so, yeah, I think you and Dane Rudyard and the rest of us in astrology are on board with you, Louisa. And Monaliza, the one who shared with us from the beginning, the Pluto dates, what are you hoping for yourself?
Yeah, so as I am a Sun and Scorpio rising, and Pluto is in there with my Sun and rising sign. So Pluto is really important to me. I want to speak and shine, and I hope to transform how I communicate to the world in a more authentic and powerful way with Pluto transiting in my third house.
Wow, what a perfect moment for you to be here in the Speak to Shine class and to be shining already. It's just like those beautiful earrings you have on. Okay, now you've met everybody. Let's get into the presentations. There's a couple of students who couldn't make it today. One of them did prepare a presentation for you. His will be the first you see. His name is Panayot Gaidov. He's a London-based astrologer, writer, astrologer, and transformation coach, helping creatives all over the world clear the road to confident, authentic living and output. You can find him by searching his professional alias, Doroteyo, at doroteyo.com. So with that, we will present Pani, as we have lovingly called him in our class, Pani's presentation on the first house of Pluto in Aquarius.
Can your dreams and ideas become reality? And will reality be better for it? That is the Pluto in Aquarius question of the year. The part of us that we call Aquarius describes our longing for community and utopia, a perfect place for all. Enter Pluto, sometimes thought of as the animal inside us out in the wild. So we have a dream and a vision that seeks to empower all of humanity. And we have Pluto, the unconscious survival mechanism, coming to reshape that vision. And this is the struggle in this 20-year journey, which now in 2025 is in full swing. It means that deep in our bones, without realizing it, we're betting on the vision we believe will help us survive. And survival is that fiery awakening force which requires a show of power. Paradoxically, some of us live in fear of an Aquarian world, a world that is humanitarian and truly better for all. Because they'll have to share, and that may trigger irrational fears around survival. And so they cling to fear and so divide. They take shelter behind politics or policies that unite us against them, one tribe and community above all others. William Blake says, each man is in his spectre's power until the arrival of that hour when his humanity awakes and casts his spectre into the lake. Those of us whose humanity awakens and who show resolve in defeating the ghosts that instill fear and divide, that's the stuff of an Aquarian revolution. So I ask again, if your wildest dreams came to pass, who will benefit? And if it's just you or your people at the expense of others, then your ghost is not in the lake yet. Your true power as a human being is yet to be claimed. Now, if you're an Aquarius sun or rising, or if you have personal planets in the first 5 degrees of Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, or Scorpio, listen up, because 2027 to 2025 to 2027 is a time of personal revival for you. Unconscious fears are rising up, and in that wrestle with the fear of judgment, the fear of the truth, you get to meet your hunger for life. What is it that you're truly driven to be and to embody in this world, in this life? And whatever voice or obstacle has been stopping you is suddenly scared of the revolution that's starting inside. As soon as you face who you need to be, who you aren't being. And I'll tell you a secret. We hunger for what we feel has been lost or taken from us. Maybe when you were little, you were recognized in some way or expressed yourself in a light that now to your present circumstances feels so far, so unattainable. Maybe something was promised and never materialized. Your job now is to bridge your current self to your ideal self, the self that is sated and free from its hungers. So what materials do we need to make a bridge like that? People who will help us and witness our journey, people who won't be helpful, and also courage to continually show up to the person we're becoming. Maybe in the past you stayed in that job or relationship that doesn't work because you wanted safety or just couldn't leave yet. Now all that gunk of fears begins to burn away. Not magically, but through your hunger for authenticity. This journey involves pressure. It may bring sudden revelations, secrets may come to light, and in all this, you're creating the space you need to become yourself again. Aquarius connects. My air gives life, I exhale, an idea sprouts, and new and exciting people are drawn to me. Allow this natural circulation to inspire you. The overhaul of your image is not a manufactured ideal. It's a continuous experiment. If you already know who it is you're becoming, then this is the time to test, apply the data, and let reality tell you that no, you don't yet know who you're becoming. And that's okay. Continue to trial and error. You're becoming something more than what even you thought possible. Pluto transits take years to massage the unconscious knots that have paralyzed our lives. When the call to be yourself feels heavy or too intense, lean in anyway. Remember that on the other side of fear lies excitement. And by allowing ourselves to want more, we affirm our own aliveness. Share the truth of who you are, uncomfortable as it may be, and your humanity will expand, and we will be better for it. So, I leave you with this. Starting today, how can you participate more actively in this process so that what's true can come out and shine with greater ease and joy?
Okay, guys, that was a really interesting take from Pani. Brandi, what did you make of that? What's one insight you might take from it?
I loved what he said about irrational fears, and it made me think like back to my childhood. I was fearless. So as an adult, I want to embody more of that fearless type of energy.
Yeah, I completely hear that too. And, you know, the other thing that I really appreciated about his presentation was what he said, will reality be better for the transformations that we've done? And that's a really important question with Aquarius. It's like, we have this ideal, we want to work toward it, but is it an ideal that actually is inclusive of all? So great questions there, Pani. Now we are moving into our second presentation for the second house. Speak to Shine Pluto through the second house with Monaliza Maestrelli.
Hi everyone, my name is Monaliza, and I will explore how Pluto's 20-year journey in Aquarius through the second house can transform our attitudes towards personal and finance values. Did you know that Pluto's transit can bring a dramatic impact to your financial stability? Pluto will be in Aquarius for 20 years until January 2044. Have you asked yourself how Pluto can help you transiting through your second house? Aquarius is related to innovation and future, and Pluto with power, rebirth, and transformation. The second house is related to money, how we earn and spend, our income, resources, and assets. What supports us, what we value. Caring for your resources will make you feel confident, secure, and prepare yourself to trust your abilities. Your resources can be money, skills, connections, and knowledge. It all helps you maintain a pleasant feeling of being capable and also self-respect. You have inside you the basic resources of survival. When you face your fears, you extend yourself towards your most interesting potentials. Security comes from inside. It's an inner state. The true security is a confident attitude towards life. The seed planted in the earth needs time in the dark to then sprout out and blossom into the world. We are all experiencing a special and innovative movement of Pluto. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius was an era of revolution, including the French Revolution. You can use this period of Pluto in Aquarius to develop new and innovative ways of dealing with your resources, money, and finances. You can also discover new ways to invest and to increase your income. You can dive deep into your values, in what supports you and supports your body. Learn more about your metabolism and your relationship to material possessions, including food. You might study or do investment course. Also, you can develop your financial plan if you don't have one yet. Have you thought where have you been investing your money and your time? You can bring from inside your authentic way of dealing with it. Even in hard situations, you can find a way to transform yourself. In this area, transformations can come from the commitment to your resources. Frustration comes from the resistance of change. You might learn with someone more about finance, new apps, softwares, and innovations to do with your own resources. You can organize it and use technology in your favor. When you create a way of tracking your life and your goals, you are able to evaluate and improve them. In this way, you have more clarity and your mind becomes more organized. One example of how you can use Pluto in the second house is to sit with a friend, a relative, or other person who has a deeper knowledge in finance to help you understand on how you can organize your personal finance and how to better deal with your investments and savings. In my case, I like to sit with my husband, who has a great knowledge in investments, and have him help me on doing my financial planning. I also keep a pirate stone on my office table. This is a crystal known for attracting abundance, wealth, and success. Here's a question to explore your inner self. How can I transform the way I am dealing with my own resources? Also, you can use positive affirmations to empower yourself and transform your mindset. You can say it out loud. I have the power and confidence to deal with all my resources and support myself towards life.
Monaliza, thank you. I'd love to hear from Tisha. What did you take from Monaliza's presentation on the second house, Tisha?
So many things. I love how she said investing in new ways, and I think that is definitely something everyone will get to experience. Also, using people as resources and joining in with other forces to help us feel more confident.
Yeah, I love that part too. And I love the story about you sitting with your husband and the pilot stone on your table. The thing that I feel like I will remember about Pluto in the second house, or maybe anything about the second house, is what you said about what supports you. That is maybe one of my favorite second house questions that I've heard from any astrologer. So thank you for that question, Monaliza, because anytime a second house transit happens, what supports us? And how can we add support to ourselves beyond just the other specifics? Thank you, Monaliza. Now let's get into that beautiful third house presentation that you have also created for us.
Now let's talk about the Pluto in Aquarius transiting through your third house. Have you asked yourself how Pluto can help you transiting through your third house? The 20-year journey of Pluto in Aquarius will last until January 2044, and Aquarius is related to innovation and future, and Pluto with power, rebirth, and transformation. The third house is related to the environment which you live in, your relationship with siblings, your close family, your local neighborhood, neighbors, and community. Also is related to short trips, studies, communication, exchange of ideas, and local business. You can use this period of Pluto in Aquarius to develop new and innovative ways of dealing with these relationships, surroundings, and how you do business. You can dive deep into new studies to improve your life and knowledge. You might do a research in fields like technology and science, finding new ways to communicate and express yourself in the world. Take time to think and become more conscious. You might read a book to have innovative ideas. Writing and journaling are also good options to connect to your own voice, to your own truth, your own story. Words are really, really powerful. You can bring more your ideas and thoughts to the world in a original and authentic way. Improve how you communicate and interact with people close to you in a daily life. You can enjoy your neighborhood in innovative ways. You can explore your own town and surroundings. Maybe you can look more at the sky and learn about a new constellation. Have you wondered how are you connecting with the world around you? The last time Pluto was in Aquarius, from 1777 until 1798, the hot air balloon was discovered, and the first flight with human passengers took place in France on 21st of November 1783. The French Montgolfier brothers were the inventors of it. And there's a fun fact behind it. Their family owned a company called Canson, a paper company. And while there were kids playing with paper and hot air from the fire, they realized the paper went up. Have you thought about seeing your city and exploring your surroundings from a different point of view? Maybe you can go to a mountain and look as far as you can. You can explore your city and place close to it. Go for a short trip or visit a new park or a new museum. I like to do this because I can have new perspectives for my life. It's a powerful way of coming to know yourself through it. Inspire yourself for new ways of thinking and looking and discover new points of view and new ideas. You can use technology in your favor. You can look for new apps, websites, and use maps to explore the area and nearby place. I like to take myself out for a coffee to a new place or sit in different chairs to develop new ideas and perspectives and creating new connections and interactions. I'll give you 2 tips that you can use to explore your imagination and your surroundings. The first one, you can create a vision board with all your goals and dreams. You can print out pictures, hang them on the wall with things you want to do, a wish list, places you want to visit in your city. You can close your eyes and imagine yourself living these new things and creating a new life. And the second tip is remote activation. It's a technique from AstroCartoGraphy where you can connect with parts of yourself through reading a book or watching a movie. Maybe you want to travel to Italy or Spain or Mexico and you can watch videos of this place. Also, you can activate it through connecting with people of different places in different cities. Here's a question to explore your inner self. How can I transform the way I am dealing with my surroundings and my local environment? With all of this in mind, you can use positive affirmations to empower yourself and transform your mindset. You can say it out loud. I have the power and confidence to communicate, learn, explore, and improve my relationships with my closest relatives. Here are my sources and my contact information. Thank you all for your attention.
Thank you so much, Monaliza. It was a pleasure to hear about the third house from you.
Thank you.
What did you think about that, Robert? What is a single insight that you got from Monaliza? And I know there were a lot, so you have to just pick your favorite right now.
She covered the whole gamut of the third house in a lot of ways.
She did.
I like the charts of the French Revolution and also the hot air balloon. I mean, that's a Pluto and Aquarius right there.
Yeah,
And,
that tech.
the way that she uses words or try to encourage people to read and expand their mental environment, and just connect to people day to day, and really have that I guess that Aquarian mentality, a little quirkiness, but also a little way of humanitarian giving and sharing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That was a beautiful presentation, Monaliza. The hot air balloon, the first flight from humanity was not necessarily the Wright brothers. These guys put a balloon in the air. What a great story to share with us. And, the part that really struck me was how third house always, especially with Pluto, when people have third house natally, Pluto natally, I always think of them as heretics. And I looked up what the word heretic means, and the root of it comes from the ability to choose, or someone who is able to choose. And I loved how you brought in that you can choose new points of view by moving yourself around different spaces that are familiar, to choose to see things differently, so you can own your voice, own your story, and bring power back into it. I mean, just a beautiful presentation, Monaliza. Thank you so much. And now we're on to the fourth house with Brandi Cheeseborough. Brandi, take it away.
Pluto is the planet of transformation, rebirth, and deep healing, often associated with power, shadow work, and profound change. Pluto's influence, it pushes us to confront what no longer serves us, urging growth from within. It operates in the background quietly, dismantling old structures and beliefs, making a way for something new. So, what happens when the planet of transformation moves into the foundation of your life? Transit Pluto in Aquarius in the fourth house isn't just a minor shift, it is a complete overhaul of your emotional core. We're talking about breaking down the walls of your past, your home, your family, and just your innermost self in order to build something that is more solid and more aligned. So it's not about just tweaking the details, it's deep, raw, unapologetic transformation. Pluto's power is in the breaking and the rebuilding, and Aquarius is absolutely notorious for shaking things up. So expect for this transformation to be anything but subtle. You might start questioning old family patterns, distancing yourself from outdated traditions, or even making big moves, either physically or emotionally, in order to align with the new version of yourself. Family secrets, they may rise to the surface. Power struggles could intensify, or just your entire definition of home may shift. So I want you to imagine if everything that once brought you comfort no longer seemed to fit. Imagine how it would feel if your home life just didn't work for you anymore, how that misaligned energy would just seep into every area of your life. If your home life your foundation is not right, then nothing will be right. But here's the thing. Pluto doesn't just destroy for the sake of destroying. It's not for sport. What it does is it clears the way. It clears the way for something more you. This is actually your chance to let go of fears that aren't even yours and build a foundation based on your present, not your past. You are redefining home. This transit is your invitation to break free from old patterns, build a life that truly supports your evolution. And it will feel intense, but trust me, on the other side of this transformation is emotional strength and resilience. So when the past tries to pull you back, remember, you're not here to repeat history. You are here to rewrite it. So where is Pluto in Aquarius happening in your chart? And what does this look like in real life? It might mean creating a home environment that reflects your current self, not just your past, healing generational wounds, and breaking cycles that have existed in your family for decades, and also finding security within yourself rather than relying on anything external. To help you work through this deep transformation, you can try these journal prompts, and you can use these journal prompts no matter what house Pluto is in Aquarius for you. So with authentic Aquarius energy in mind, I want you to ask yourself, how can I use my uniqueness as a strength rather than something to hide? What radical or futuristic ideas excite me, and how can I start bringing them to life? And where in my life do I feel the urge to rebel? And what is the deeper lesson behind that feeling? So I challenge you to embrace the shedding of the old, trust the process of reinvention, and welcome what's coming, because this is not just a new version of home. This is a more powerful, authentic version of you. And remember, with Pluto and Aquarius in the 4th house, you're not meant to fit into the old world. You are meant to build a new one. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandi. Louisa, what did you think about Brandi's beautiful, brilliant presentation?
Oh, it was brilliant. I really love the journal prompts, but I stick with the phrase she said, you are not here for repeat history, you're here for rewrite it. And for me, this is gold. This is precious for this transit.
I agree. There were so many places where I was just loved the way that you brought the impact of the Pluto transit, and you kind of made me feel like, oh my God, this is going to be huge, but I felt comfortable that I'm going to be able to somehow handle it. And the part that I especially appreciated was the way that you said, this is deep, it's raw, and it's unapologetic. And it's not doing it for sport. It's doing it because it has to fit who you have become. And while it reminds me of this, a friend of mine has this thing, she calls it AFGO. And AFGO is, I'm seeing you smiling, Brandi. Do you know what that AFGO is? Another,
no, but I feel like I'm gonna love it.
Pardon me?
I said no, but I feel like I'm gonna love it.
It's another effing growth opportunity. And she's just like, oh, here comes Pluto, and here's another AFGO in that part of your chart. And that's the rawness with which I felt like you brought this home for us. Thank you so much, Brandi. Tell us about the 5th house.
What happens when the planet of transformation knocks down the door of your house of creativity, pleasure, and self-expression? Transit Pluto in Aquarius in the 5th house isn't just a small tweak. It's an actual reinvention of how you express yourself, how you experience joy, and go after your passions. Pluto's power is in the breaking and the rebuilding. Pluto is the planet of death, rebirth, and deep transformation. When it transits the fifth house, the house of creativity, romance, and self-expression, it's time to let go of outdated versions of yourself and step into something stronger, something more authentic. Since Pluto is moving through Aquarius, you can expect for this reinvention to be anything but predictable. Aquarius is famous for shaking things up. So if you've been taking the safe route when it comes to romance, self-expression, or creativity, Pluto won't allow that to continue as is. It's time for you to embrace your full potential and live out loud and take risks. So where are you being called to take risk or reinvent yourself? Share with us down below. Along with creativity, romance, and self-expression, the fifth house also includes children. And for me, Pluto is an Aquarius in my fifth house, and it's sitting right on my Mercury, my mind, and my voice. So recently, I had a long overdue conversation with my adult daughter. And just to give you context, my daughter has Pluto conjunct Mars in her natal chart. And that Pluto Mars, that squares with her Mercury. So resolving conflict peacefully, like that's just not really her thing. Not yet. But I said what I needed to say, and I'm good with however that turns out. I said it with love, and I said it with truth. And when she's done being upset, I will be here. Take a look at my chart. Recently, I have come out of the astrology closet. I have studied astrology and practiced astrology for years, you know, in the background, in the shadows, and like under the cloak of night where nobody can see. And now I am out, I'm loud and proud, practicing in the daylight. I am speaking on a large platform, sharing my perspective on a subject that I care about deeply. And I am an introvert, and I sometimes have anxiety issues when I have to speak in front of an audience or get in camera. My fear around speaking to an audience has continued to be a hindrance in my life and career, because at times when I have a great idea, things will go well until it's time to become visible. I will execute a plan flawlessly from step A to step Y, and then it just all falls flat at step Z, the part where I have to be visible and talk about it. And I'm just not willing to let that continue. I have to empower myself like I empower others. I said earlier that Pluto's power is in the breaking and the rebuilding. So I need to actually listen to where I'm being called to take a risk. I can't simply continue to always play by the rules. My Pluto is transiting my fifth house, and my Mercury being right there, Mercury being my chart ruler and my midheaven ruler, I'm being called to express myself through my voice. So when this opportunity came for me to speak on Pluto in Aquarius on this platform, I just agreed to do it. And I have felt some fear, but the creative process of putting my thoughts on paper, creating a presentation, and then finally stepping into my power and speaking my thoughts out loud, it feels like a solution to a challenge that I have had for as long as I can remember. And I'm almost even tempted to say that I'm enjoying it. All of a sudden, I'm not running away from opportunities to express myself. I am feeling the fear and doing it anyway, because at the end of the day, we can all either grow or we can die. That's it. Those are our options. So let your creativity be your revolution. You are being encouraged or even pushed to express yourself boldly, love without limits, and create from a place of raw truth. Do what lights you up now. It will be intense, but on the other side is freedom, authenticity, and the creative power that you crave deep down. So you can either lean into it or just get dragged. The time to start is now. Thank you.
Wow, Brandi, that was a very powerful presentation. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your own personal story.
It felt good to say out loud. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, like the first thing I want to do is like jump up and down and celebrate the fact that you've done this Pluto transit like a freaking champ. That was amazing. I mean, what a great example of Pluto transiting your Mercury. And then you bring in your, you had this interaction with your child, another fifth house thing. I'm just fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Brandi. What did you think of it, Monaliza? What insight will you take with you?
So I love the example of Brandi and her child. And I love how she said that we have to let go of the outdated versions of ourselves and step into something stronger, embrace our full potential. And sometimes we have to leave it out loud and take risk. So the fifth house is also related to kids and children. So I think we have so much to learn from children and kids because they are so authentic and they are brave, to be themselves. And also about the intuitive, the writing, I think it's a really powerful way to know ourselves about when you use intuitive and creative writing. And we have to be brave sometimes to go for the opportunities that pass by ourselves. And also, I like the phrase that she said, express yourself boldly. It's really awesome.
Yeah. And that was a great point too, Monaliza, that children teach us how to be unself-consciously ourselves. No wonder creativity, which is an unself-conscious expression of ourselves, is linked to the same house as children. In fact, I think that might be the first time I've seen that. Thanks for that comment,
Yeah.
Monaliza. And
You're welcome.
beautiful. Like I think, and then, at the end, Brandi, you summed up Pluto's main thing in 3 words: grow or die. It's like the Lord of Death is like, okay, there's 2 options. That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Brandi. That was wonderful. Our presenter for the 6th and 7th houses, Andrew Watt.
Hello, my name is Andrew Watt, and I write an astrology column that comes out whenever the sun changes decans at andrewbwatt.com. You can read my most recent column for the Aries 1 ingress, which appeared a few days ago. I've been asked in this series of videos to talk about Aquarius, Pluto, and the 6th and 7th houses. So you're going to be with me for about 12 minutes while we discuss Pluto in Aquarius in the 6th and 7th houses and what that might mean in a chart. I thought that my parents' kitchen would be a good place to do this because my parents have been married for 58 years. So it's a good place to talk about relationships. It is also a good place to talk about 6th house work and labor because the kitchen is often the center of labor in people's houses. And I also thought that that would be a good place to talk about Aquarius because Aquarius is a place where work gets done. It is fields that are about to be plowed. It is quarries and mines where gravel, stone, and metal ore are being pulled out of the ground. But I do tend to think about Pluto not just in terms of transformation, but in terms of too little and too much. Here's why. We tend to use the word transformation to talk about how Pluto acts in the world. And if you look at this teacup, which I've filled with water, the teacup is very full. And now that I've sloshed it around, there's quite a lot of water here in the base, right? So transformation says that an overflowing vessel has to either spill out its water or it has to be transformed into another vessel, like another vessel has to come along. But when we transform the vessel, too much suddenly becomes not enough. And it doesn't matter whether we take our spillage and add it over, it's still only a tiny percentage of the total vessel. So when we think about transformation, we should be thinking about too much, too little, and how one thing, when changed into something else, winds up having to take on a new form. One of the significations of the sixth house is work. What we do for daily work, how we take care of the animals and people in our lives, how we manage our employees, and how we engage with the world. And so often, what happens is that we take a relatively little amount of planning and goals and we transform it, and suddenly our cup is full to the brim and just about to overflow. I've spilled a little bit of water, so it's no longer quite where I expected it to. But that's what happens, right? That when we talk about Pluto in the sixth house, some of the work is going to spill. We are going to take too little wages, too small of a pot of money and try to distribute it among too many workers, meaning that workers aren't going to get paid enough, and there's going to be pushback in the form of labor action. Pluto in the sixth house is that you will never get the balance exactly right. There will always be either too little or there will be too much, and your cup will overflow in one direction or another. You will either have too much relaxation or not enough. You will always have too much work to do or not enough. What about the seventh house? How do we translate this into the seventh house? One of the significations of the seventh house, in fact, let's go through those significations of the seventh house, are primary relationships. That is to say, who is your spouse? Who is your most significant other? I talk to a lot of clients who are polyamorous, and I like to talk about the statistically significant other, the person that you spend the most time with and have sort of the most anchors with, shared bank accounts, a shared house or apartment or living situation, perhaps shared vehicles, shared pets, and so on. So the seventh house represents the statistically significant others of your life, not just a spouse, but also business partners, and to some degree, rivals or even open enemies as well, because all of those are peer-to-peer relationships. And that's primarily what the seventh house represents, is relationships where you have peer-to-peer contacts and expectations. When you put Pluto into that mix, what you get is economic power, where one partner has too little and has a lot of needs, such as somebody who might be disabled, or somebody who's carrying a lot of debt, or somebody who's carrying um, a, a lot of economic challenges, or doesn't have a very good job relative to how much income they need. Like, I forget who said it, but the idea was, uh, if your income is 20 pounds, paradise is 19 pounds, uh, 11 shillings and sixpence, with just a little bit left over every year. But hell is 20 pounds, 1 shilling and sixpence. Like, just being a little bit over your income can be a real challenge in terms of how your life actually plays out. Too little, too much. When we transform these two things one into another, right, there is an inequality. And when we're talking about relationships that are supposed to be peer to peer, but in fact are not peer to peer, that's problematic, because now your cup slosheth over. And why does it slosh over? Why does this stuff spill out from one part of your life to another part of your life? It sloshes out and it spills out. The economic issues slosh out as emotional issues. The emotional issues slosh out as economic issues. The economic and social and emotional issues slash out as social issues. Who are you going to be friends with? How do you present your relationship to other people in your monkey sphere or in your social circumstances? One partner may be of a much higher social status or economic status than somebody else. And as a result, sloshy, 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 stuff happens because you can no longer maintain perfect equilibrium because the cups are no longer equal in size, right? One partner is going to wind up being considerably more powerful from an economic standpoint, from a social standpoint, or have a greater level of emotional equilibrium in the way that they respond to the challenges that are currently going on in the world. And the other partner is going to be something of an emotional disaster area. You don't know when you look at a chart whether the emotional disaster area is going to be the native of the chart or if it's going to be the native's partner. But one way or another, somebody is going to be in a state where the major issues of the day are represented by spilling water. And just because one partner is prepared to take the overload, why are you overreacting? Why are you responding to these challenges in such a in such an outsized way? Don't you have the emotional, intellectual, social, moral, technical capacity to absorb more of these challenges than you think you can? Like, why don't you have this emotional capacity? And the answer is, I'm not equipped for the challenges of this present moment, whatever those challenges may be. That's one of the ways to think about the problem of transformation. It's easy to say the word transformation, but one of the things to remember is that transformation means that equilibrium is impossible. And when we're talking about the seventh house, we're talking about peer-to-peer relationships that should be equal and in equilibrium, but absolutely cannot be with the presence of Pluto. I hope this helps you interpret those charts moving forward and gives you useful tools for talking to them. Thanks for watching.
And now we're going to move on to the 8th house. And I'd like to welcome Luisa to share with us the wonderful and often scary implications of the 8th house.
The 8th house, yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Luisa Silva, and we are going to talk about Pluto in Aquarius transiting to the 8th house. Imagine entering a hidden chamber inside yourself, a place where your fears, obsessions, and buried truths are hidden. And now imagine someone turning on a torch and forcing you to look at everything inside. This is the energy of this transit, a radical exposure to shadows and a call to transform our relationship to power, death, intimacy, and shared resources. The 8th house governs deep psychological processes, sexuality, and transformation, encompassing taboos, inheritance, debts, and personal metamorphosis. Pluto's presence here intensifies these themes, forcing us to confront our deepest fears and shadows. The 1998 film Meet Joe Black features a scene where Joe, Brad Pitt, death itself, mentions death and taxes, perfectly embodying the 8th house essence in astrology. This house represents inevitable change, confronting us with fears, losses, and life cyclical transformation. And we are usually afraid of Pluto transit because they force us to face our inner shadow, anger, jealousy, obsessions, and the need for control, all leading to an identity transformation to move forward. In mythology, Pluto is Hades, lord of death and the underworld, the force that dismantles stagnation to rebuild anew. But please don't hit the panic button yet. Remember that death and destruction come before birth and regeneration. And yes, we may have to confront our shadow, but it is a necessary step to release what doesn't align with our true self, allowing us to become who we are really meant to be. The final objective is soul growth. This is the energy of Aquarius, visionary, futuristic, and collective oriented. With Pluto in Aquarius transiting the 8th house, we can expect traditional banking and economic system will be shaken. We may see digital currency replacing old systems. Radical shift in intimacy and relationships are redefining commitment, sexuality, and power dynamics as Aquarius challenges traditional norms. Technological advancements in life, death, and rebirth, from breakthrough in biotechnology and longevity to the ethics of transhumanism. The rise of new psychological and spiritual healing, where AI, virtual reality, and alternative therapies become integral to personal transformation. Remember, one of Pluto in the 8th house's biggest themes is power, where all structures break down to create something entirely new and transformative. This transit may be intense, yes, but those who embrace change rather than resist it will experience profound empowerment. Here are some ideas to navigate it. Don't fear change. Pluto only clears the outdated. Resisting makes it harder. Instead, dive deep. Therapy, introspection, and meditation is Pluto's lesson. Assess investments, debts, and share commitments. Leverage new technologies to streamline the process. Explore mystery schools and deep wisdom for transformation, while releasing at the same time taboos by challenging outdated views on money, power, sexuality, and death. Pluto also represents what lies deep beneath the earth, making crystal work a powerful practice. Golden obsidian supports deep shadow work. This protective stone reveals truth, strengthens intuition, clears blockages, and fosters growth. Use it in meditation or whenever you need grounding and protection. Place it close to your heart and just breathe. Remember, this is the Phoenix Rising journey, one of true empowerment. Are you ready to dive into the unknown and emerge reborn?
Wow. Thank you, Luisa. I don't know. Robert, are you ready to dive into the deep unknown and emerge reborn? What did you think of Luisa's?
Absolutely. Well, I loved the slides were dynamic. And but what really caught me in the beginning, like the hidden chamber, I mean, that's what the 8th house is all about. It's depth, it's the unknown, it's really going down to the core of existence of who you are and your emotions. And the way that Pluto shakes everything from death to your joint finances to being involved with astrology or the mystic or anything the occult. I like Hades. I mean, some people have a kind of like a presentation that is not really what Hades is all about, because he is the god of the underworld, but like he really, it's like Kali. He takes in all the everything that you don't want and spits it out. And since that transformation, I think, is really important in the 8th house. And also, I think the Phoenix Rising is a very good analogy. I mean, from the ashes to the higher realms of what you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah, you covered pretty much everything that Louisa kind of covered there. And one of the things that I really appreciate about that presentation, Louisa, is the really practical tip of golden obsidian, especially from a certified crystal practitioner, holding it close to my heart and just breathing. I mean, what it ties in with Robert's poem at the beginning too. It's like that breath, bringing our calm and our peace. Like I can just feel it as I'm putting my hands on my chest. I can feel that. And I'm like, I don't have Pluto transiting my 8th, but I'm going to get that golden obsidian and hold it close to my heart and just breathe. What a great, helpful tip. I will definitely carry that forward. Thank you, Louisa. I believe you have the 9th house for us as well.
Yes.
Okay, let's get into it.
I have the 9th house. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast cosmic ocean, gazing out an infinite horizon of knowledge. Now feel a force compelling you to dive deep, shattering all belief and reveal new frameworks of understanding. This is Pluto in Aquarius transiting the 9th house, an era of profound intellectual transformation where philosophy, higher education, and spiritual consciousness are radically reshaped. Pluto here sparks a deep shift in belief, education, and global connections, driven by innovation, technology, and evolving collective thought. The 9th house governs spirituality, higher knowledge, philosophy, and long-distance travel, fosters teaching, publishing, and expanding consciousness. And this is my favorite house ever because it's the house associated with astrology. Traditionally, the sun's house of joy. It thrives in seeking wisdom and truth, symbolizing exploration beyond the familiar and driving intellectual and spiritual growth. With Pluto in Aquarius transiting the 9th house, we can expect what we once worshipped as truth may no longer feel absolute, leaving us adrift, as if our inner compass has broken. But we are not lost, we are recalibrating, opening our hearts to new meanings, new perspective, and even new realities beyond our current understanding. This journey may feel uncertain, but is leading us to a deeper and more authentic connection with life itself. There comes a time when all truth felt too small, and the pull towards something more becomes undeniable. I have felt it, that quiet, irresistible call beyond the familiar. I crossed the ocean with my astrology books and little luggage to establish my life far from my homeland. So for some, it leads to new lands and cultures. For others, it's an inward journey. Either way, it's a path of expansion, shedding the old to make space for something greater. As we embrace new ideas, we not only explore the world, but awaken to new dimension of consciousness, discovering ourselves in the process. This transit will feel deeply personal. All the ideas and beliefs you once trusted will no longer be fixed. They will demand reinvention. You may be drawn to unconventional learning, digital frontiers, and wisdom beyond traditional institutions, redefining what education truly means. In fact, this very moment, us sharing these ideas across the world is part of that transformation. Knowledge is no longer confined. It is fluid, it's boundless, and ready to take you beyond what you ever imagined. This is our chance to embrace new knowledge, adapt to the digital world, and expand our minds. By sharing and thinking collectively, we don't just witness change, we create it. Feeling drawn to philosophy, mysteries, or technology, mastering AI deepens your understanding of these fields and expands your mind and unlocks new knowledge, very practical. The world calls you beyond the familiar to travel, learning, or soul searching. Perhaps we will explore higher dimension or travel beyond space. Every journey transforms you. Knowledge thrives when shared. Teach, write, or spark conversation that challenge and inspire. Explore the unknown and bring others along. Stay adaptable. Education, laws, and travel are evolving. This transit rewrites the rules, embrace change, and move forward. Laboratory is ideal for this transit. It expands consciousness, strengthens intuition, and helps you adapt to profound change. A bridge between realms, this stone protects against intense revelations, stimulates creativity, and connects you to new ways of learning, from technology to spirituality. Carry it when studying, meditating, or traveling, and let it be a portal to knowledge beyond the conventional. This is a journey of transformation in your own wisdom. It pushes us to embrace the future of knowledge, expand our consciousness, and rethink everything we once believed. Are you ready to unlearn, relearn, and redefine what knowledge truly means? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Luisa. Monaliza, are you ready to unlearn and relearn? What did you think of Luisa's presentation?
Oh my God, the ninth house is so amazing, wonderful, and all about exploration in the world, and like how she said, like the infinite horizon of knowledge. And I loved how she started saying about the imagining standing at the edge of a vast cosmic ocean, because it is all about the ninth house. And so I'm so in love with it because I have Mars in the ninth house. So I love to explore, to travel, to meet new people, new places. And we live in a world of infinite possibilities. So I love the phrase that she used, that we can feel that our compass is broken, but we are not lost. We're just recalibrating. And we have we are able to embrace new ideas, discovering ourselves in the process, and expand our minds. We can go beyond their borders, how Luisa said. And the word calls to traveling, to learn, for the soul searching. And I also love the Labradorite stone. I think it's so beautiful, and it reminded me of the cosmos. So it's really beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, you and Robert both covered all the pieces of what Luisa's presentation were. And I agree with Robert too, that the slides, Luisa, they just transported me. They were such beautiful slides. Thank you for that. I think it's interesting that Monaliza, you spoke for Luisa here, because you did the third house and she's doing the ninth, and that whole polarity. I felt like you really explored that polarity in some ways. You know, Jeffrey Wolf Green talked a lot about the polarity point of where Pluto is in your chart. And I'm not super familiar with his work, but I know that the polarity point of a ninth house Pluto would be the third. And I felt like the parts where you said explore the unknown and bring others along, which is such a perfect ninth house significations. You know, it's like we're exploring our beliefs, we're rewriting them, all of that stuff. And it's also the house of writing and publishing. So that's how you bring others along. So what a beautiful bringing together. I mean, you guys are just, where have you been hiding? We need your voices in the world. I'm so glad that we're getting to hear all of you. Wonderful presentation. Thank you so much, Luisa. I'd now like to invite Robert to share the Pluto through the 10th house, when Pluto's transiting your 10th house and you have Aquarius in your 10th.
Pluto and Aquarius through the houses. Pluto and Aquarius transiting your 10th house, transforming your career and public image. Think of the planets as actors, the signs as costumes, and the houses as the stage, and the story unfolds. Our lead actor is a dwarf planet named Pluto, who portrays a subtle yet powerful presence, always transforming the landscape into a somewhat clandestine manner. It is responsible for the changes in your life that occur from the inside out over a period that sometimes is not immediately noticed. There is a primal and dark shadow that emerges with a strong psychological tendency to transform one's life as well as society. Pluto in Aquarius will transit the 10th house for approximately 20 years. This signifies major transformations and upheavals in your career, public image, as well as your standing and how society views you. It creates a radical approach to seeing things related to your career in a different light or reevaluating your approach on how to flow with the current conditions of society. This can manifest in progressive ideals and a broader dynamic in your field, whereby challenging authority figures and structures and pursuing innovative concepts. At the same time, alternating profound shifts in your professional reputation and personal image. Always evolving as you rid certain attachments that no longer express who you are. Think of the serpent continually shedding his skin through the course of the seasons. Some salient points about Pluto's placement in this sign and house can result in unconventionality and a rebellion and complete transformation in your career to break free from the traditional norms and pursue new adventures. You can question the established power structures in your field, which may result in conflicts with those in authority or feeling compelled to challenge the status quo. This will challenge you to transform your career and your public image to progressive and unorthodox directions. However, be mindful of what these approaches can be viewed upon by others. Any ruthless tendencies to control others can result in disappointments, problems, and failures. This encourages you to examine your motivations and ambitions and to rethink your message. Your principles and values are important to you, but they must also benefit society and the local community. Powerfully expressed, this Pluto placement can project itself as a fearless disruptor and an agent of change. Some areas that can be of interest is to science and technology, social reform, humanitarian projects, as well as having a unique gift to see what the future trends are. Your associates or the world may notice you as a normal, brilliant, cutting edge, but there's tendencies to exhibit an aloofness, being distant and cool, and a detached feeling toward others through your endeavors. A great amount of success and recognition can be achieved during this transit if you are willing to act with integrity, authenticity, and mindfulness of human feelings. Any planets and aspect from your natal chart to Pluto in the 10th will set the stage to further enhance the meaning of those planets blending together. The energizing interplay of those planets and the aspect that is being made, along with the house positions in your natal chart, create the direction and path to be aware of constructive values and goals that you are working toward. Such an example is your natal sun being in Gemini, in the 2nd house, making a trine to the transit of Pluto in the 10th. Pluto can offer the Gemini sun a complete transformation of its values and needs that benefit you as well as your career and society. If used in a positive manner, much success can be realized. You can work hard to achieve your ambition, but your goals must be true to who you really are. If you are unsure of yourself, then exploring other vocations during this transit may offer the one that expresses your true objective before Pluto enters the 11th house. As Pluto transforms your public career or image, the power to master your career is limitless.
Thank you, Robert. Who doesn't want the power to transform their career in limitless ways, right? Tisha, what did you think about what's one insight you might take from Robert's presentation?
Well, I love the way you started us off, Robert, with your presentation as a stage. So the planets as actors and the sign is the costume and the house is the stage. That's a great way to look at that. And also the unconventional areas of career, being an agent of change. I loved that. And also how we can apply our unique gifts for career changes as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that, Tisha. And you know, the thing, excuse me, the thing I think, Robert, that you brought back was a little bit of what Pani talked about in the beginning with the first house. Will reality be better for it? By bringing up things like there might be a tendency for ambition to become ruthless, aloof, detached. Those are very strong, important things to think about at the shadow side of Aquarius, and watching that we don't go into me, or just being whatever and rolling our eyes like a teenager to what's happening in the world, but really being consciously of service. I felt like you brought those themes out really well. Thank you so much for your contribution, Robert.
Thank you. You ready
And
for
now,
Pluto in the 11th right now? I
yes,
slides.
let's get to Pluto in the 11th with Robert once again.
So Pluto in Aquarius transiting your 11th house, transforming your goals, hopes, and friends and community. In the heavens of Indra, there is said to be a network of pearls, so arranged that if you look at one, you see all the others reflected in it, a Hindu sutra. As we follow our sense of who we are to achieve recognition of our career efforts, our path from the first house to the 10th. So now where does our journey take us? To the 11th house. The natal ruler of this house is Aquarius, also co-ruled by Saturn and Uranus. Its message is beyond the venture of who we are to become something greater. Achieving this goal requires more than being an individual, so we step out of ourselves and connect to friends, associations, groups of like-minded people, belief systems, or ideology to create a system that internalizes our unity to benefit society. One takes a leap from the 5th house to the 11th house, which rules creative self-expression and personal recognition, and expression of affection, entertainment, and romance, children and speculation, to the 11th house, where connections to friends, colleagues, groups, personal goals, future orientation, social changes, and a vision for humanity's future. With Aquarius ruling this house, we can see an innate tendency to protect and preserve the needs of friends and family, groups and society. If we follow the path from Capricorn, ruling the 10th house, where its primary goal was structure, laws, and customs that benefit society, Aquarius looks at these support systems and evaluates whether they serve the best interests of the group. If it creates restriction or limits freedom of the group, Aquarius tears it down and replaces it with new progressive rules that enhance our personal freedom and the virtues of the group. Pluto in Aquarius enters the 11th house from 2024 to 2044. It conveys a strong and powerful message of transformation. Whatever systems or rules that have been the norm will be analyzed to see if it still benefits society, or will new changes alter the collective consciousness at this time for the future. This transit is an awakening of what direction is salient regarding the friends and acquaintances we have, the hope and aspirations we hold deep in our heart, and the various kinds of groups, associations, networks, or beliefs we take part in. Pluto, the planet of life, death, rebirth, renewal, and all things, brings transformation, passion, resiliency, and moves into Aquarius. This new cycle brings attention to our friends and close associates. innovation. Pluto can be the driving force in the reevaluating the past, assimilating the present, and anticipating the future, what the future pulse can offer. It purges the roots and emotions and feelings of psychological patterns that prevent the growth and process to evolve, where you confront these issues and let go parts of your identity that no longer serve you. Pluto transits can be subtle yet determined, transformative undertakings, not noticed immediately, but in its placement in the sign of Aquarius manifests with a sudden and at times a radical approach to see things differently. Being an air element sign, there is an innate ability to change viewpoints more suddenly than, say, earth or water signs. All characteristics of the 11th house will be analyzed during this transit. Friendships may not hold the same significance as it did 5 years ago and can cause separation. Your friends reflect who you are. So as you change, your friends will change too. Social groups will examine their dynamic structures, and the norms may differ from your current perspective. Humanitarian causes that you have aligned to in the past may no longer reflect your goals now. In closing, Pluto transiting the 11th house subjects one to enormous amount of personal transformation that can have long-term effects. These effects set us apart on a path to achieving and fulfilling our goals, hopes, and changing the collective consciousness of humanity. All these transformations and the vision we have for the future carry with us as Pluto continues this journey into the 12th house.
Thank you, Robert. That was beautiful. I love this picture. I'd like to invite Brandi to share what insights or thoughts you have on Robert's presentation, Brandi.
I especially felt a connection to what he said about being more than just an individual. For me, my 11th house has my Cancer North Node. And what I recognize is that the more experience I gain in life, the more I begin to really appreciate my groups and communities and be less of an individual.
Yeah, what a beautiful way to tie that back into your own chart. And Robert, the thing that I really appreciated about this is you brought in the whole Pluto piece and the transformation Pluto is going to ask us in the 11th house by saying your friends reflect who you are. And as you change, your friends change. And that's like everywhere I'm hearing every single one of you talk about these things. It's like you're about to change. And whatever house Pluto's transiting is going to look different. Whatever arena of life or stage, as you call it, Robert, the setting is going to change dramatically along with you because you're changing. So of course, as Brandi does her work on law of attraction stuff and manifestation work, you're going to manifest who you are. I love that. I love that statement. Thank you so much, Robert. And last, but definitely not least, Tisha Fuller to present the 12th house, please.
Pluto wants you to take back your power. Pluto wants to offer you a destiny. Pluto's function is to transform our emotional and psychological wounds. However, first we must see them clearly. And sometimes a clear picture can only emerge through the suffering of a Pluto transit. By transforming our wounds, we become free of the weight of emotional blockages and unconscious patterns that limit our true soul potential. Medieval heroes had to slay their dragons. Modern heroes have to take their dragons back home to integrate into their own personality. Robert Johnson. Not everyone will experience Pluto traveling through their 12th house in a lifetime. This is the last sign of the zodiac. With the dragon back home, both psychologically and spiritually, we face a decision. Can we complete this cycle, fully integrate our dragon and release it? Or will we attempt to control the dragon, holding on with all our power and dragging it along as Pluto crosses the ascendant to begin a new cycle. The 12th house journey of Pluto through Aquarius challenges us to awaken our true purpose through the process of individuation. As a fixed air sign, Aquarius encourages us to question ideals, unconscious psychological controls, both internal and external, and social restraints. This journey might invite you to explore topics such as spiritual or religious freedom, the need to escape reality, or our connection or lack of connection with higher consciousness. Our destination is not fully understood from the 12th house position, so we must become the mystic. What is a mystic? A mystic is simply a person who seeks by contemplation and self-surrender. We are living in a world far separated from divine consciousness, yet we are a reflection of it. Realigning with that part of ourself is difficult, but the 12th house actually brings it closer, enhancing our psychic and empathetic sensitivities. Our minds desire this deeper meaning, so we may find ourselves zoning out more often. Imagination and creativity are heightened. Be aware that Pluto can also heighten paranoia, dark moods, and the desire to escape. Trust the inner journey, but stay grounded. Pay attention to the way that social conditioning may jolt your inner revolutionary. Give all your oddities a place at the table. Remember, you are becoming someone new and leading the path for others to do the same. Often it is hard to find words or realistic components that match what's going on in the inner world. Explore symbolic works of mythology, poetry, art, and music. Better yet, be shocked by your own abilities. This is a creative time for you. Think outside the box, but find a method of inner expression that helps connect you with something beyond this world. You need mindfulness practices and rituals in your routine. These provide grounding and allow time for contemplation. These also guide us in removing distractions. This energy is good for detaching from outdated relationships or social situations that no longer fit us. You reclaim life by standing firm against guilt, insecurity, and peer pressure. Many struggle with dogmatic conditioning. Learn to be aware of experiences that trigger detachment or mental rigidity. Recognize these Plutonian clues. Examine every battle you are facing with a psychological magnifying glass. Are you seeking approval where none is necessarily needed? Fear and anxiety may be self-imposed or imposed by others, but it is time to break free. Perhaps you detach from feelings through distractions or escape because it's easier than sitting in silence with your own thoughts. We've all been there. Try journaling or guided meditation apps. Music has saved me during my own transit. The singing, the dancing, and definitely the tears. You are learning to let go. Loss or endings may occur. Some may be sudden or shocking, but the spiritual path means trusting that the removal was necessary. Find ways to strengthen your faith. Aquarius energy takes us on individual journeys that others may not understand. There may be real challenges in feeling misunderstood or socially alienated. Find compassion for yourself and others while maintaining your power to do as you please. Trust you are moving in the right direction. Quirky new allies seeking a similar mission will soon cross your path. The veil is thin for you during this time. Something holy is calling you. Do not try to elude the inner messages or hide yourself with mundane distractions. Let something mystical impose your thoughts and bring loss to the parts of yourself that must fall away. Take the necessary steps towards your destiny.
Gosh, that feels so good. Tisha, what a wonderful closing to our Pluto and Aquarius through the houses. I feel renewed and excited to find my own inner mystic, a journey I think I've been on my entire life and still discovering gems in it. Louisa, what did you think about Tisha's presentation and any specific things you took away from it.
Yes, I love the analogy between the medieval heroes and modern heroes. And when she said that we complete this, can we complete the cycle, or we want to control the dragon? So the most powerful thing here is the power of surrender. The power of surrender, learning to let go. And this is a transformation will occur.
Indeed, indeed. And I loved how you wove in loss as a necessary, but like and like a surrender, just like Louisa said, that surrender piece of that, and the 12th house with its significations of loss, but realizing that it's part of the surrender. And I felt so like you were with me on this journey, Louisa, like, because you leaned in, you're like, we've all been there. And I just felt this, like, that I have an ally in you sitting across from me in the screen. It was a very, here you are, you told us that new allies will show up, and here you are on the screen, an ally for everybody who's got this 12th house Pluto transit. So thank you so much. You guys, this has been such a beautiful gathering, and what an incredible journey that you guys have been on. Any insights that you feel like you want to highlight, or anything that might not have been said that you want to add, so that our viewers can really take great advantage of this Pluto and Aquarius transit over the next 20 years? Let me ask Brandi first.
Hearing Monaliza speak about the hot air balloons in the 1700s, like that brought the 1700s to the front of my mind. So that's the last time that Pluto was in Aquarius. And during that time, that's when Uranus was discovered, the planet of, new ways of thinking and rebellion. So with Uranus in Aquarius, like again now, I feel that we all have a responsibility to share our unique ideas with the world, so that we can like all help move humanity forward. So if you have an idea, like, don't just sit on it. Don't let your brilliance go to waste. If ever there was a time to speak up, the time is now.
And you just said Uranus is in Aquarius now. You meant Taurus, and then it's going to move into Gemini, right? Yeah. Yeah. I guess you meant Pluto in Aquarius right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that. I love that. And especially because Uranus will go into Gemini really soon while Pluto's in Aquarius. And so that speak up and shine feels so relevant. And for you personally, I love that. How about you, Louisa?
Well, we have to remember that Pluto in Aquarius is not about ourselves, it's collective. So we are co-creating as a society. So we have to remind ourselves that we are not alone. We are part of a big, great.
Yeah, because what is the collective made of? But all of us. And if we take care of ourselves, then we take care of the collective. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder. How about you, Robert?
Well, it's going to be very interesting times for the next 56 years from now. I mean, you have all the outer planets changing signs. And especially with when Saturn and Neptune get together next month, that's a big transcendent moment in life. But basically, the Pluto and Aquarius, it just entered the sign, and you can see what's happening in the world. People need to it just left Capricorn, so it's basically people in power need to kind of they'll be getting a message to change from the masses, because I feel the majority of people want to live they want to live in peace. They want to live not worrying about certain situations. There's a collectiveness that we have to get together and change humanity to basically fulfill all the goals and wishes that everybody has, which I think is collective. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be cared about. Everybody wants to, go down the street and feel that you're comfortable. And so I think that's the change that's happening in the world right now. And And with Uranus here and Pluto in Aquarius, if you don't change, then destructive things happen, or things get worse. So this is almost it's a message of enlightenment to the masses, and that's what it's. And if you let go and let the sweeping changes take you away like a gust of wind, you'll land. And if you have pure thoughts, you're going to get into a nice space in life.
Yeah, so much related to that poem you read us. Breathe in whatever is happening and then transform it within ourselves, allow it to become the alchemical process inside of us, and then breathe out that compassion and love. And I know that sounds glib, and I know there's a big process between that inhale and exhale. And I'm hoping that we can all learn to master that over the next few years. What about you, Monaliza? What did you think about this whole?
I thought all the presentations were amazing with like key information and topics. But as Robert said about like friends, when you change, some friends change. I think it's really true. And what just Tisha said about the 12th house, I think it's really important because Pluto in Aquarius is about like Aquarius is an air sign, and I think we have to care about our mental health as well. So as she said about like journaling and writing, but also about the music. I think the music is a powerful way to care for our health. Sometimes we need to relax, and music is a good way to do it. And I'm doing astrology since 2015, 2016, and right now I'm really feeling the halfway, like the halfway and the powerful way of Pluto to bring community and people together. Like we are here right now doing it, like really Pluto in Aquarius. So I think you have to be careful and bring community together, bring people together, and help each other and care for like the health of each other, like the mental health and the health of people to grow as community.
Yeah, absolutely. I do love the part that we did Pluto and Aquarius, which is about the collective as a collective. That's a beautiful way of reminding us of that. Thank you, Monaliza. And how about you, Tisha? What would you like to highlight or point out to our viewers?
Well, I would just say that I think it's important to know the individual birth chart. And I think Robert mentioned aspects, but really that's such a big player. And here we are, a lot of great astrologers here and universities like Kepler that can offer great educations if people want to choose that path on their own. But I would like to add that I think it's so important to understand personal aspects.
Indeed. And if anybody needs further guidance of how this whole thing fits into our birth charts, every one of our astrologers who you've heard today has their bios in the chat. And yes, Robert.
There's one thing that I'm surprised that none of us really mentioned it with Pluto and Aquarius. A little two letters, AI. And
I think Luisa mentioned
I
it.
mentioned it.
oh, you did?
Yeah,
I'm
a
sorry.
lot.
But this kind of happened or started, AI started probably around when Pluto was in Aquarius. I think Microsoft and Bill Gates, Apple were working on it as a similar thing. Now with the Pluto Aquarius, it's just like really taking mainstream. And it's almost like, like when you type anything in your computer, they're going to keep that. But the most important thing is that the people who are writing these programs, it's important to come from a place from the heart. And if that happens, then I think there's a greater ability for the world to really connect and unite in a very loving kindness way.
indeed. And maybe we can send love to everybody who needs love right now and offer our work in the highest benefit of every single creature on this planet, human or otherwise. Yeah.
It was really nice to meet new friends.
Yeah. In fact, I want to ask you guys, we got together and we met each other because of the masterclass that Kepler has just started the Masterclass series. They'll have a professional certification program that the Masterclasses will fit in. We are the very first class. We started at a Sun Mercury Cazimi. I'd love to hear your thoughts about what you got from this class and what advice you might give to somebody who is interested in becoming a speaker. Let's start with Louisa.
Well, Speak to Shine has been an incredible experience for me. I have learned so much about pace, tone, rhythm, body language, and the power of my voice. So the fearless speaker within me has grown. And now she's ready to step into the world. And thank you, Meghna. I'm so grateful for this class. And thank you also, Lori and Cal. I am very happy I signed up for this course. And I really want a second part of it.
Absolutely. We'll have to develop something. Thank you, Louisa. How about you, Tisha?
Well, I came into this class with a real fear of speaking and tried to cut out of it several times, but I'm so very thankful that I stuck with it. Meghna, you're a great teacher, and also Lori and Cal. The whole program's been very friendly. I have felt like I've been in a safe space, and I really feel like I've made big strides with overcoming fear and anxiety, very Pluto and Aquarius. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tisha. And you have such a beautiful voice. I'm so glad you stuck with it. And I just want to mention for our viewers who are not seeing Lori and Cal, Lori was our assistant and in the class, and she was a pivotal part of making it happen. And Cal is the one who's helping us make sure this YouTube presentation happens. So our gratitude to both of them as well. How about you, Robert? What did you get from this class?
Well, very, very similar to Tisha. I have Saturn in the first house. It's squared by Mars in the fourth house. And there's always been a fear of holding back or not being confident enough to really express my inner feelings a way that I would like to express them. I don't. I have a stellium in the fourth house, so when I'm in a crowd, I'm like in the corner, and I need to come out of that corner and really be, have more. I guess just feel more confident about myself, and this is a start, and I really appreciate that you started this class. And it's just like it's very difficult to overcome your fears and anxieties. I mean, I'm trying to speak from my heart chakra, but I'm stuck here in my throat, and I need to go down a few notches. And just like Tish has a very good voice, and so does well, everyone. I love your voice, but I just have to relax more and just really enjoy who I am and try to do the best to help other people.
Yeah, because there's a bounty inside of you, Robert, that we're just getting a glimpse of, and all of you. I mean, what a gift that you guys have given us today. What about you, Monaliza? What will you take from this class?
So I think there is always room to improvement, and it's possible to let my voice shine through the world. And if you have like this spark inside you, go for it. Don't let it die inside you. Go for what ignites your soul, ignites your dreams. And it was amazing to be with you, to be all of you here. Meghna, you was so supportive and kindness with us. And also thank you, Laurie and Cole, for helping us through all this process. It was like really powerful. I wanted to build like a stronger community in astrology, and was surprisingly amazing to talk about Pluto and Aquarius in this class. I didn't know we were talking about this, and it's what is really happening right now, like Pluto is transiting in our houses, in our natal chart, and it's awakening part of ourselves. And I think it's the 20-year journey of Pluto in Aquarius right now. It's really powerful. So I think we have to embrace the opportunities for this period. Thank you, Meghna. Thank you all for this journey together. It was amazing.
Thank you, Monaliza, for joining us. It was wonderful to share this journey with you. And last but definitely not least, Brandi, what are your thoughts about the class and what you might encourage others who want to speak?
My biggest takeaway and what I've really come to like learn and recognize is that nobody's perfect. So there's no reason for me to want to burden myself with trying to be perfect. All I can do is speak about things that I'm passionate about, that I actually want to talk about, speak with confidence and clarity, and just let that be that.
Yeah. Amen. Say that again, Brandi. I missed it.
I said, don't overthink it.
Man, I could use that advice like every single day. Don't overthink it. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being part of our panel today, everyone. What an honor to have you, and to Pani and Andrew also, who are not here with us in the panel, but they are going to be viewed by all of our viewers and have their wisdom shared. And I really want to thank Kepler College for inviting me to teach this class. It has been such a magnificent experience, and for the vision that Kepler College has to take their graduates and professional astrologers from sitting in their corners of the world to shine out into the world, to build a professional practice, to share their voices. So thank you so much, Kepler College, to all of you for being pioneers in this class. And with that, we will sign off. Thank you, and join us again for the next time Speak to Shine arrives. Until then, watch these astrologers, because they're going to be shining brighter and brighter every single day. Thank you.